boy Terry Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Joe, Sway, Joel, and Sean.
Welcome into the special edition of the Causeway Street Podcast. I am Joseph Pavone, Joel Pavone to the right of me, and we got Sean Dutra right across from me. What's up, Sean?
Hey, everybody.
What's been going on with the Boston Celtics?
What hasn't been going on with the Celtics?
Is this team in trouble or what? Only 23 games left in the season. Second place now, no longer in first. They dropped 3 straight, including 4 of the last 5. Let's get into what's been going on with the Celtics. I mean, I was going to say the tough loss, but then again, it really wasn't, right? I mean, the Clippers sort of deserved to win that game. And then, of course, we had the blowout loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Celtics clearly have found themselves in, probably easily the worst stretch of the regular season. I mean, they've not only dropped these games, but they're just giving up a lot of points. I mean, that's obviously been the bread and butter of this team, the defensive side of things, and they just haven't looked themselves lately. I mean, giving up, 129 points? I mean, look like the Phoenix Suns against a team like the Los Angeles Clippers. And listen, I know this is a talented group. I know they have guys that can score. I know that DeAndre Jordan had a career night, so I'm giving him that. He had a career night.
That hacker DeAndre.
He scored a career high.
Didn't work, Brad.
No, it didn't work out, but that's beyond the point. He had a career high 30 points. Lou Williams found his groove. Tobias Harris. Okay, I get it. However, the fact that the Celtics are giving up so many points, the fact that they're not preventing teams from scoring over 120 points, is a bit of a concern. But how concerned are you two about this final stretch? Because listen, there's 23 games left. You got the Toronto Raptors right there. Obviously, they're number 1 right now. Boston's at number 2. They still have plenty of space between 2 and 3, so they still have that that gap between them and the Cavaliers. But how you see this team's rhythm and what they're going through? It seems like they just haven't been themselves lately. What do you guys think is the biggest reason?
I mean, I'm not concerned. I'm not worried. I'm just annoyed, above all, about pretty much how this team has performed since they came back from London. So
it's not since they came back from London.
Yes, it is.
It's since they lost Marcus Smart.
No, don't say that.
They lost Marcus Smart.
Don't say that. That's the sole reason that they're playing the way they're playing. Because there's some nights where and Brad has said it, effort is not seen on both ends of the floor.
I'm sorry, but no. Here's why I say that is because the Celtics had bad offensive nights. When they, you look back and they put up. Let's even look at.
I mean, even early in the season.
Earlier in the season,
they would carve out wins because of their defense.
Yeah, earlier in the season, you see them playing. Oh well, they don't have it offensively, but they would step up defensively. And like since Marcus Smart has been down, I don't. You can look at the numbers. You can see what I'm saying. The defense has been atrocious. So like you can't over.
Let me ask you this: why is Marcus Smart a good defensive player?
Intensity, knack for making a big play here and there. I mean, he obviously he knows how to play pick and roll defense.
Here's the answer I'm looking for. He puts in more effort than most.
Sure.
Okay.
Intensity. That was the first thing I said.
No, I said effort though. I'm talking about effort.
That's
Forget
the same
intensity.
thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
To me, it is.
It's not. Anybody?
What's the difference between intensity and effort?
Kyrie Irving, a horrible defensive player last year, right? Mm-hmm. Can we say that? Tied or worse than Isaiah Thomas, number wise?
They're almost neck and neck.
This year, he's one of the top players with the most steals in the league. No one talks about that, but why? Because he's putting in effort now.
And also he plays next to Marcus Smart, it's infectious. His defensive effort is infectious.
So then why is Marcus Smart has more steals than Kyrie Irving?
Don't see what I'm saying, but there you go. You want to get on stats?
No, I'm not.
It doesn't matter about the stats. It's the heartbeat of the team.
It only matters with stats when you're trying to prove your point. But when I have stats that unprove your point, then it doesn't matter. What all I'm saying is, it doesn't take much.
Steals do not define a defensive player.
Okay, great.
Good.
You're right. Okay. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
Well, there goes my Paul Pierce point against Larry Bird.
But my point. But my point is, this team, even with Marcus Smart out, they're still the number 1 defensive team in the league. Right. Still.
The past 4 games though, past 4 or 5 games.
So then tell me why someone like Aaron Baines is only playing like 10 minutes now. When stat wise, when he plays at least 20 minutes or more, they have like 23, 25 wins and like 5 losses.
Actually, Aaron Baines for players who play over, I think it's 13 minutes a night.
Thank you.
He's one of the top for defensive efficiency.
Defensive play. Yeah.
So then why aren't we looking at Brad Stevens as more of a culprit of why they're not playing because he needs to switch these things out.
Wait. It's a matchup based thing for Baines. Baines is not going to go up. Baines is not going to play if you're playing against.
He still starts the majority of the games,
right?
Though.
But he's not going to play a ton of minutes if you don't have a big man to defend.
Brad's team is a lot of the time is in a situation where it's like a tug and pull situation. It's like, okay, I want to stop this team, but I need offense on the other end.
Yeah.
Look, Aaron Baines can get you stops, but sometimes it's just he's a liability in terms of putting up points. Not that the Celtics turn to him for points. However, I feel like offensively, when Brad needs offense, and we've talked about this a lot of times throughout this podcast, when Brad needs offense, he tends to go small. When he goes small, Baines is left out. The same thing we saw against the Houston game. I felt like Baines was doing a very good job of protecting the rim, and he started doing that once Stevens finally put him back in, towards the end of that third quarter where he had him, pretty much sat him 3 minutes into the game, and we didn't see him until that third quarter. At times, it works. However, a lot of the times, I think Brad's just looking to get the most out of his offense because let's face it, when this offense goes stagnant, when it rains, it pours. I mean, it's only Kyrie at times, and we saw that against the Clippers, right? I mean, Kyrie was the only one. Okay, Marcus Morris got it going, here and there. But when it comes to putting together points and going on a run, I mean, if Kyrie is not out there, it's very rare to see this team succeed offensively without him. The 9-minute mark, real quick. I just want to make this quick point. I know Sean wants to jump in here. The 9-minute mark. Fourth quarter, right? I felt like the Celtics, there was 3 straight baskets out of Al Horford, Terry Rozier, and Marcus Morris. And I thought, okay, this is interesting here because he's going to have to rest up Irving because Irving dropped 15 in the third quarter, right? He's going to have to rest him up for a little bit, but these guys are holding it down while Irving's out. Lou Williams completes a 3-point play. Oh, no, he sinks a 3-pointer, pulls the game within 2. Brad Stevens immediately turns to Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying it's a bad call, but I think it's an indication of when Brad Stevens sees the offense start giving up points, or when he starts to feel like, okay, I need my security blanket, he'll turn to Kyrie Irving.
Another point I want to bring up is Jason Tatum, right?
Oh, he's
okay. He's hit.
rattled.
He's struggling a little bit. I'm not trying to put up excuses for him.
Which I think we can expect.
He is a 19-year-old, new father. He's got other stuff going off the court, but. How come they don't set him up more? Why is everything got to be ISO with him, and he's got to create his own shot? Why don't they set him up more? He barely puts up a lot of attempts to begin with, and when he's on, you see that he's a capable scorer. Set him up more.
I'm gonna say that it has a lot to do with the trickle down effect when Marcus Smart isn't in the lineup.
You're gonna believe this is Marcus Smart?
No, wait, no. Defensively,
defensively,
because Tatum now has a lot more responsibilities defensively when Marcus Smart's not in the lineup. The other day, against the Clippers, he was trying to guard Tobias Harris running a pick and roll with DeAndre Jordan.
Well, that goes back to Sway saying that they went small though.
But that's what Marcus Smart could have been defending that.
On Harris or Jordan?
Harris.
Right.
But the fact is that if
he
Tatum
can guard multiple positions,
and he can switch, right? So that's the thing. So Tatum has been taking on this bigger role defensively, I'm still trying to figure out this NBA life, this rookie life, and then now I have to take this huge step defensively to pick up one of the most, the slack of one of our best defenders. So between him and Jaylen Brown, I think that's where we're seeing some of their offensive struggles is because they're asking more on the defensive end from them, and they have to be a two-way player as a 19 and 21-year-old player.
All right, so then what about someone like Morris, a veteran? Why is he not playing more defense?
A lot of it has to do, especially with Tatum, specifically with Tatum. I think teams have adapted to him. They've taken away the baseline. Remember the first couple of months? Right. That was his go-to. Once he got that first step across his defender, forget it. They're trapping him now. They're making him uncomfortable on the offensive end. They're denying him.
Tatum,
and then when like Joel says, when they do set him up for ISO plays, boom, the double team collapses, and it's either a turnover or it's a terrible shot. You know, he's forced to take up a jumper that he's not accustomed to taking.
Same thing with Jaylen Brown. Like, why? I feel like at the beginning of the season or during that that stretch,
lately it's been like corner three or nothing.
Not only that, but it's like these it's like they grab the ball at the like near the like the arc or the top of the key in that area,
elbow.
And they try to the elbow. Thank you. Right. And they try to just like, oh, I'm just gonna just take this whole team off and just try to use my athleticism.
But then against the Clippers, he bounced the ball off his foot.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
remember that around the back dribble that just went to the other team?
So what the fuck was that?
The back, yeah.
Or remember when Kyrie he tried to do like a throw pass
to 3 Clippers.
between three, yeah. So run a play, Brad.
Well, here's my thing though. Is like you had to expect some type of regression from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum at some point in the season.
And that's
I'm not saying we can't rely on them.
I'm not saying that the Celtics have to rely on them, but
they do have to rely on them right now.
But
they have no other options.
It's fixable.
No, I think
it's fixable.
I think what you're trying to say is that Brad should have a substitute plan in place.
Yes, a plan
for when
B,
these
a
two
plan
guys
C.
hit
When
that wall.
exactly.
Sure, but like,
But what is that?
who are you relying?
Yeah.
Who are you
Who do
relying
you
on?
turn to?
Are you relying on Rozier to have a solid night every night to pick up for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, or
can't rely on
are you
Shemi
relying
O'Gara.
on Marcus Morris, who
Yeah, you can't rely on
really
Shemi.
you know what you're getting from Marcus Morris, and that's about 10 points a night.
But no, Marcus Morris at halftime was like near a double-double. And in the second half, completely disappeared against the Clippers. Okay. And he needs to step up.
Let's even take we're micro focusing in on the Clippers game. It's not the Clippers game. It's the fact that it's the Pacers. It's it's from the Pacers game on. Pacers, Cavs, Clippers. You could even throw the Wizards game in there because that game was closer than it needed to be. You go back to the Raptors game. Blowout. The Celtics had a chance. The Celtics had a chance to stake their claim as the number one team in the East. They played the top 4 teams, in my opinion, in the Eastern Conference, and they laid an egg. They laid an absolute egg.
That Raptors game was tough, though. I mean,
the Raptors were
streaking. The Celtics.
Kyrie just came back.
Listen, okay, you pick your game you want to pluck out. Fine, but if you're gonna take the Raptors game away, then they gotta win that Pacers game, and they gotta be respectable in the Cleveland game. They have laid an egg. No, they laid an egg, man. It was bad. And you know what? All I'm gonna say is this, and this is I don't want to keep bringing this back to Marcus Smart, but I will.
I think you're going to. Right?
No, I think that's what you wanted
to
do.
The Celtics were 10-4 against top 5 teams in the NBA with Marcus Smart. Now, that doesn't include the games they didn't have Kyrie Irving or Al Horford. 10-4.
Okay, and the Celtics, since Marcus Smart's been out,
against top 5 teams, are 2-4.
Okay, but this stretch, the games that he's missed.
Why's your boy got to be punching?
That's what. Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a second. But in this stretch that he's been out, 11 games, they're still over 500. They're still what? They're 6-4, 6-5 right now.
Okay, so good. Let's count the Hawks, the Knicks as great wins on the season. I'm sorry, but
without Kyrie Irving, yeah, those are great wins because they depend too much on Kyrie Irving.
I'm talking about games that matter, playoff potential teams that you'll see in the second round of the playoffs. If you are going to go up against them, and the whole reason why, let's scratch it. That's a stupid argument, because the whole reason why we were all on the Celtics bandwagon is because they were dominating and playing great basketball against good teams.
But they're still, wait. They were still coming back from double-digit defeats, though.
Oh, but they were coming back. They were coming back, and they were winning against good teams.
That's effort. That's what I go back to effort,
which comes back to Marcus Smart.
It's not all him, bro.
I don't care. I don't care if you don't want to give Marcus Smart credit. Fine, you're an idiot because he is the heartbeat of this team. He is the heartbeat of this team.
You're the only person that says that. He's the heart and soul of this team.
He really is.
He's not. He really is not.
Okay, sure.
I don't know who it is. You can give me an argument that Al Horford might be.
You don't know who it is.
It's not him.
Okay. Well, that's just dumb because you're obviously not looking at the way things are playing out since he's been off the floor.
But before he went down, they had 2 separate losing streaks. 4 games, the season high, and before that, another 3 games with him in the lineup. So it's not just him.
Those teams, though, those were the letdowns. Like, that's your squad at full strength. Those games were against like the Hornets, right? Or the
so that makes it better.
No, but those are letdown games.
They lost since they came back from London. They lost to the Sixers.
Sure.
They lost to the Lakers.
The London trip.
The Lakers.
I know.
All right.
The London trip did have something to do with, I think, some of the sluggishness.
They lost to Orlando by 26, bro.
But I'm telling you, is that you can expect some sluggishness. You can expect some.
But as long as Marcus Smart's in the lineup, it's okay.
Look at the way the stats show you for wins versus good teams, and you tell me there's not a trend.
In 10 games, how many good teams did they play against in these 10 games?
They played 6 good teams, 6 top 5 teams in the NBA.
Yeah,
Cleveland.
We talked about all the dynamic
Cleveland,
Warriors, Raptors, Wizards.
Warriors,
Raptors,
So then tell
Pacers,
you, then
Top three
Cleveland.
backcourts right there.
Then tell your boy to stop punching shit that he doesn't need to be punching.
Hey, I'm just
Obviously,
saying.
he's frustrated because he's not playing well.
Now-
So and then
If you want to blame it on Marcus Smart, you can, but you also can't
I'm
say
not blaming it on
that
him.
Marcus Smart is not the most valuable asset of this team's chemistry. I think he makes this team go, and he makes
Bottom
he
line-
makes his team run.
bottom line is
he
at
put
the-
the team, and Brad Stevens said this before the game, before the Clippers game. He said that he put this team in a tough situation because not only is he out, Shane Larkin's out. All of a sudden, the Celtics have essentially two guards.
Kyrie was out.
They have Kyrie and they have Rozier right now. So it's been tough. Obviously, on the defensive side of things, he is, especially on the backcourt. He's the heart and soul of the defense. At least.
bottom line, in
You
my
can say that.
opinion, if Danny Ainge was able to get a first round pick for him, he would have been gone. That's just bottom line. But
Well, his value wasn't. That's the thing. But at the same time,
He means
right now,
more
this
to
team,
this team than can be quantified in a trade. If this team wants to get to the NBA Finals, Marcus Smart needs to be a part of this team.
Again,
all right.
stop punching shit.
I agree.
Play
All
better.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Hey,
no, not play
hey,
better.
Hey, Brad Stevens says
Just stop. Just
Brad
play.
Stevens
Well, why?
says
But why
after
did he
the
do it,
All-Star
though?
break?
Why did he punch it? He said because
No,
he's
it's
frustrated
because
with
he
his
had
play.
an Instagram model trying to say he was
said it.
pregnant, and then he has to
said
get
it.
in that
It
baby
came
mama
out of
drama.
his- Came out of his mouth.
Hey, listen,
Came out of his mouth. He
baby
missed the
mama
final shot that he shouldn't have taken against the Lakers, and he got pissed like shit. I shouldn't have taken that.
And,
Bam.
and he said,
Bam.
he said because it goes down in the DM. You guys
It goes down in the DM, and
You guys
guess
missed
what?
that
If
part.
I get a baby mama that gets a one up on me, and I'm an NBA player, and then I get exposed and all this shit, I'm gonna be pissed too. I'll probably punch a mirror, do some coke off that mirror, do whatever I got to do, man. At that point, Jesus Christ, that sucks.
All right.
Moral of the story is
We'll see what happens.
Should have done some coke instead of smacking the mirror.
I would,
We'll
yeah. I mean, but then he gets a drug suspension for 10 games, so who
Well,
knows what's
and
better.
then you still find a way to defend it. Like, well,
Hey,
that's-
okay, maybe that's why he's so
Well,
intense.
no, Sean will be like, well, that's why this team misses him even more now because now he's going to miss another 10 games.
No, but
Yeah.
hold on, but we didn't answer the question. Are you concerned? Or are you guys concerned? I'm not concerned. I'm just annoyed.
Am
really.
I concerned?
Because you got teams like Golden State who they're not second place, they're not in first place anymore. I don't think they're concerned. Houston, when they lost Harden for a little bit, they weren't concerned. Now they're the
Well,
best
well,
team.
no one
wanna-
has a
if you
player
wanna
as valuable
define
as Marcus Smart.
Okay,
That's why they're
see-
not concerned.
If you want to define concern as like these guys getting out of the top two,
I don't know, OKC and Robson. I don't know.
If you guys want to
Robinson.
define, if you guys want to define concern as like these guys getting out of the top two, I think at the end of the day, this is what you'll see at the top two. What you see right now between the Toronto Raptors and the Celtics. In what order that happens, that's really hard to determine, especially because the way the schedule is built.
I mean,
You
even
have 2 games with this. These guys face each other within 10 days. Those 2 games could ultimately decide what goes down, in the top 2, and especially what goes down in playoffs. Because let's face it, I mean, this team really likes home court, and I'm talking about the Toronto Raptors.
Oh yeah, they need.
And so
they
do the
need
Boston
that.
Celtics.
They need it. Yeah.
They need it. They need it more than any other team, and because of how things have gone down in the playoffs between other teams. They really rely on that home court. It's just their safe haven. However, one thing I always will remember about that series against the Washington Wizards is that every single game in that series, the home team won.
Yep.
You put that game 7 in Washington, D.C., I'm not quite sure Celtics get out of that one. And this is a series where I even predicted the Wizards to win this series. And of course, that didn't happen. But
And this is sort of
the
a whole different team too, but same thing rings true.
But the home court means that much to this team,
Could
just
it be-
like it did last year.
Could it be possible that maybe they're a little bored? Like look at
No, they're not
look at,
bored.
Man, look at Golden State. I mean, Steve Kerr's got his players coaching against the Phoenix Suns, and they're not. And again, they're not in first place anymore. I don't think they're concerned.
You know what? I
know what I
think
mean?
I think maybe they're just buying into what Brad Stevens is saying. Is they're saying we're not as good as this record shows, so they're like, let's get a worse record. Let's prove coach wrong.
I don't think that's
Oh,
true
I
at
just-
all.
I'm just kidding.
Some-
I don't know.
They got to figure it out. Like
Here's-
effort wise.
here's
I'm
what-
not concerned. I'm just annoyed.
Here's what I'll say.
Again, I'll say it again.
After the All-Star break, we got 3 duds. You get a break, and then you get like the Knicks,
No, it's Detroit.
Detroit.
They're playing motivated these days.
Okay, whatever. You should beat Detroit. I will not get on my Detroit soapbox on this episode. Garbage. I don't care if Blake's there.
They should have beat the Clippers.
Then the Knicks. What I'm saying, you get a break.
I know. I know.
Let's see what happens after the break. I'm not going to make any decisions right now.
Go.
The break's going to do them some good.
Plus-
I'm not concerned, especially defensively.
Hayward's coming back.
This team's going to be. They still are top defensive team.
Yeah.
Al needs
So,
a break. Al
Despite
needs a break.
despite everything that's
Everyone
happened,
needs a break.
they're still the top team in the freaking NBA defensively. So
Well, they gave up 120.
yeah, but they also scored 119.
But they gave up 120 2 nights consecutively.
Not 2 nights,
That's-
but yeah, 2 games. Yeah.
Back-to-back.
They gave up about 250 points in 2 games.
That's not bad. And you know what? The Lakers gave up. The only reason why I saw a stat like before I think it was the Celtics Clippers, that the Lakers had given up back-to-back games of like 268 points. And I was like, that sucks, dude. And the Celtics give up 250.
This edition of the Causeway Street Podcast is brought to you by MyBookie. Head over to mybookie.ag and enter the promo code Causeway, where you can get yourself a 50% bonus. That's right. MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus if you join right now. Head over to mybookie.ag, enter the promo code Causeway, where you can win some cash on sports betting. It's the best site for sports. And if you haven't already, you should, because I trust them, and I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to go find out for yourself. Head over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code Causeway. It's MyBookie. You play, you win, you get paid. All right, stay tuned, guys.
It's coming at you.
Next episode, Causeway Street Podcast. We're up out of here, guys.
At Causeway Street on all social media accounts. Peace.